There are a lot of things in your life that you really want to do that you find a very hard time doing. You end up scrolling on social media, watching TV shows, doing the same things every day, and you feel like your life is basically on autopilot and like you are this robot who, for the life of you, cannot get out. And then every time you get a little bit of momentum, you start making a little bit of progress, it ends up fizzling out, and you are right back where you started within a month of this new venture to be this new you, and you're sick of it. And maybe up until this point, you have thought that your issue was laziness, but I'm here to tell you that it's actually not. And in this video, I'm going to prove it. You don't need another pep talk or hack to get motivated. What you need is to understand what's actually stopping you. And by the end of this video, you're going to walk away with the clarity to actually unlock your potential and to become her. And this is one video in my Tis Your Season Christmas special, where for every single day in the month of December, I am dropping gems just like this to help you walk into your best for 2025. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure you hit subscribe. But right now, I'm going to show you why your goals feel out of reach, how to flip motivation on its head, and change everything you know about the way you're going about this for good. So the first thing that you have to understand is that there is a difference between laziness and what you are probably experiencing, which is resistance. So laziness is the willful neglect of work that is often tied to selfishness and entitlement. So if that's what you're doing, then you probably are lazy. But I'm imagining, if you really felt what I said at the beginning, that this is not laziness. What resistance is often a subconscious fear or limiting beliefs masquerading as laziness. And this means that there is something going on in the back of your brain that you are not consciously aware of that is preventing you from doing the things that you're like, I know that I want to do this. I know I want to go to the gym and get fit. I know that I want to put myself out there more and start going on dates or be a better wife or whatever that thing is for you. But I still find myself not doing it. And there is a reason why. One of the major questions that you can ask yourself to decide if it is laziness or resistance is, am I unwilling or am I just afraid? And if you resonate a lot more with maybe the fear aspect, maybe the lack of clarity that you don't know what to do or how to do it, rather than just like, no, like I could do, I just don't want to. I'm just not going to spend my time doing it. I want to be selfish. I want to like, then you're not lazy. So the first thing that you have to do is define the enemy. You have to know the enemy and you have to know yourself. Resistance is your real enemy, not laziness. And it's often disguised as avoidance, as fear, fear of failure, even fear of success, and false beliefs. And so that's why you have to first identify what is your root cause of resistance. So I want you to just pick one thing right now that you really want to accomplish that you are struggling to really get and keep the ball rolling on. Let's say it is fitness and working out. Think and ask yourself, what is actually stopping you from doing this? Because here's the truth: everything that we want to do, we do. And everything that we don't want to do, we don't do. And it is really that simple on the surface. But what we have to get down to is, why don't you want to do it? Because you know that you should, maybe you know that you need to, maybe you know it'd be good for you, beneficial. But if you really wanted to do it, you would make the time for it, because I'm sure you can think of other things in your life that matter to you that you make time for, be that hang out with friends or being a good student if you're in school or showing up to work or even watching TikTok or watching YouTube videos. You found time to watch this video and you made it a priority. And so you have to ask yourself, why don't I want to do this other thing? So for me, something that was hard for me is going to the gym and fitness. And what I realized was is that I had a lot of false beliefs about the gym and about nutrition and what it would take for me to lose weight and live a healthy lifestyle. I believed that in order to be fit, that I had to be extremely strict and I had to give up all the foods that I love, and that I had to basically be miserable, because I had a friend who did lose weight, but she did it in a way that I just would not want to do it. She didn't eat a lot of food. She was often going to bed hungry. She was eating like yogurts that I don't like, and like all of these like salmon and chicken breasts and stuff like that. And I am a foodie. And so the idea that I would have to give up like all of the foods that I love. My husband and I travel so much, and I would have to like be on a diet while we're traveling. I was like, oh no. And here's the thing: I didn't realize that that was the reason that I would fail at every single diet I tried. It's because even though I was saying, hey, I want to do this, truly in the back of my mind, I did not want to do it. And so when you understand that maybe you want to build wealth and build a business, but you're feeling a lot of that resistance, could it be because you were raised to think that money is evil and that you're greedy if you want to be able to have money? that could be something that's causing you resistance. Is it that you're trying to put yourself out there and date, but you have a false belief that there are no good men out there and that all men are players? And so when you try to put yourself out there, you're always self sabotaging because your brain is actually trying to protect you from that threat that you have told it exists. And so now that you've identified that resistance is the problem, you have to use strategy and not force. So stop trying to force yourself into action. And that is actually such a very masculine thing to do. And you have to stop looking at those self help channels, reading those self help books for men, because the way that men work are just so different from the way that women work. And women, especially, we are much more emotional, and trying to force ourselves to do something is just rarely going to work. And it is even more rarely going to stick. What you need to do is to align your desires with your goals. And this is something that I talk about in more depth in the free training that I have, which is linked in the description, that goes over the 3 secrets that women who thrive in every area of life use. And I really reveal it all and go into depth. But in short, you don't need to fight yourself into doing something you hate. Instead, you need to reframe it and figure out what the problem is and how to make it something that you love. Because what's going to be better? Forcing yourself into doing something that you hate, or making a pathway to doing something that you love and that you enjoy and that you're actually excited to do every single day. If you hate working out, try dancing instead of the treadmill. If you are avoiding leadership because you've had bad bosses, remember that great leaders can be kind and empowering. And maybe you are the type of leader that all of these employees wish that they could have. Motivation isn't about forcing action, it's about trying to find alignment between what you want and what you believe. And when you have those two things that are in sync, you will find that you are now doing those good things that you want to do just as easily and on autopilot as you do those things that are not really beneficial to you becoming the woman that you want to be. The next thing that you need to do is to break it into smaller patterns and to understand the patterns to begin with. So, do you procrastinate when you're overwhelmed? Well, break the task into smaller steps. Do distractions keep you stuck? Well, create an environment that eliminates those temptations. You can set a timer for 10 minutes and start small with a 10-minute ab workout that you see on TV. Or maybe you get your friends together and you create a night where you all finally create your online dating profiles or something like that. Whatever that small step looks like for you, make sure that you're intentional. And one thing I want to really encourage, because I found a lot of people have a hard time with small steps because we want it to happen faster and we want it to happen all at once. Listen to me very, very closely and very clearly, please. The longest route you can take is a shortcut. Because by the time you're done trying all the gimmicks, all the hacks, all little things to try to force yourself into doing it, you're going to do it and it's not going to stick again. And you're going to be back here a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later, and then try it the right way, when you could have done it the right way and it could have been done in a couple of months, and you would have also been able to build it in a way that was going to be sustainable. So just like when you go into the gym, you don't go in there and pick up the 400-pound or 300-pound weights right off the bat. You start with the 5 pounders and you work your way up and you build your endurance. And if you're worried that it's going to take too much time, remember the time is going to pass anyway. And you would much rather do it once and do it right than continue on the cycle that has not been working. Because a person who does something over and over again and expects different results is called in that's insanity. And I want better for you, and I hope you want better for your life than to continue doing something that is not serving you and that also prevents you from being the woman who can help everyone around you get there too. Now, the next part of the solution is to attack the root cause. Attack is the secret of defense. And so instead of fighting procrastination or guilt, figure out that belief and attack it at the root. If you think that success is selfish, reframe it and remind yourself that success allows you to serve others. If you think that fitness means deprivation, reframe it. Say fitness means balance and freedom, the freedom to be able to move my body well, the freedom to be able to try amazing, different, delicious foods. You have to fight this by uprooting the lies, because you can't fix a weed simply by trimming the leaves. You have to pull it up from the root. And make sure that as you're on this journey that you are celebrating all the small wins, because opportunities multiply as they are seized. If you wrote one page of that book you were working on, celebrate it. If you worked out for 10 minutes, acknowledge it, because it is those small wins that will lead to big breakthroughs. A bucket is nothing but a million tiny droplets of water that are all combined. And such is the same way with life. Everybody seems like they are an overnight millionaire or an overnight celebrity. It only took 10 years. And so with whatever goal that that you are working towards in your life, make sure that you are very intentional with giving yourself the appreciation and acknowledgement for these steps that you take, and know that no step is too small to be worth celebrating. And it's about doing them consistently, not doing them big, but then you burn out at the end of all of it. But if you feel like there is something deeper going on, like potentially you are in a place where you like feel like you're trapped in a cage of the identity that you once had and you really want to step out of it and you aren't sure why, that's exactly what I'm going to be going over in tomorrow's video, as this is in a series of videos that I'm making for this December. Every single day, I will drop a new gem on how you can up level your life and make sure that next year is the best year yet. Tis your season. And tomorrow's video is going to be all about how to break out of the cage that you have put yourself in, how to step into your new identity and walk into being the type of woman that you admire. So if you're ready, I'll see you in tomorrow's video.